Tea Time with She Brew Royalty features remedies for inner healing and outer beauty. Real-time conversations with sisters in the Hebrew Israelite community, focused on healing our spirit, mind, and body, which will contribute to the healing of our nation as a whole. Sip a cup of tea, wear your favorite turban, tee, or tunic, and enjoy Tea Time with She Brew Royalty. She brew royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit, love, joy, and peace. She's got long suffering, gentleness, and goodness, endurance, faith, and meekness too. She brew royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit. She brew royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit, love, joy, and peace. She's got long suffering, gentleness, and goodness, endurance, faith, and meekness too. She brew royalty. She's got the fruits of the spirit.
Shalawam, shalawam, shalawam Ahchwathyam. Shalawam, come on in, sisters, come on in. I see Sister Johnny is here, Sister Zion is here, come on in. Let us get this royal tea party started. Come on in, please, please, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you haven't already done so, please let others know that we are live. We are live. Sister Johnny says, how are you doing? I am so blessed, Sister Johnny. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. I have zero complaints, none. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for another day. Another Sunday, another day that I get to spend time with you all. Yes, I am so excited. I'm so excited for so many reasons, right? First of all, life. Man, we cannot take that for granted. We cannot take that for granted. So I am just thankful and blessed. How are you all doing? Please let me know. How are you all doing? I pray everyone is doing great. I pray you're all well. Yes. So before we go any further, let's do what we always do, give a huge shout out, a huge praise to the Almighty I Am that I Am, the God of the Hebrews and the Shebrews, in the name of His Son YASHAYA Christ. So yes, you know what? We are just so grateful for Him. We are just so grateful for Him bringing us back another Sunday, bringing us through this past week and into a new week. So praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. I am your host, Shalawam, and I humbly thank you for joining me on this broadcast today. Mary, it is so good to see you, Mary. So good to see you. Haparad, good to see you. Shalawam, shalawam. All praises. Oh my gosh, we have an amazing show tonight. So let us go ahead and get all of these housekeeping things out of the way so that we can get this amazing show on the road. I am so excited about this show and about our special guest that's coming in tonight. So yes, if you haven't already done so, please invite others to join us, because this information that you will be receiving tonight is going to be amazing as usual. Just absolutely amazing, very informative. So yes, please let others know that we are live. By the way, how's my video tonight? How is my video tonight? Please post something in the comment, let me know, because for the last few weeks, we have been dealing with, the video being pretty blurry. So I had some things done this past week that should have fixed this problem. There were wires that needed to be replaced. I upgraded, my service. I had a lot of things done to make sure that we have a better experience tonight. So please, Sister Karad says it's perfect for me. All praises. Yes. Praise the Most High. So how was your week? I pray everyone had a blessed and marvelous week. I certainly did. Mary says it looks good. Oh, all right. So it looks like the problem was solved. Looks like the problem was solved. So praise the Most High. So before moving forward in this discussion, let us get these disclaimers out of the way. Let me first start by saying what Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty is not. Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty is not going to be everybody's cup of tea. We get that. We understand it. We don't expect it to be. However, if you happen upon this channel and you realize that, you know what, we're just not your cup of tea, you don't, believe in our beliefs of lifestyle, that's okay also. I encourage you to continue to search YouTube, and I'm sure that you will find your perfect cup of tea and your perfect flavor. You owe that to yourself. I am quite sure that if you continue your search, you will do just that. But please do us a favor. Do not leave any negative or derogatory comments in the comment box, because that would be distasteful. So we really appreciate that, and we thank you in advance. Also, although I am a certified physician assistant and functional nutrition informed professional, and I will be touching on topics of health and wellness on my broadcast, we will not be utilizing this platform to diagnose or treat anyone's illnesses. So if you are experiencing any medical problems whatsoever, please consult your healthcare practitioner. And the views that you will hear on this channel are those of myself and my guests, and not those of any particular church or organization. One more thing, if you would like to be a guest on Tea Time with Shebrew Royalty, please send me an email to shebrewroyaltybiz@gmail.com and include a brief description of your business, product, or service that you provide, or a topic that you are interested in co-hosting. I would love to hear from you and brainstorm on how we can collaborate to help heal and strengthen Shebrews throughout the four corners of the world, which will ultimately contribute to the healing of our nation as a whole. So I will put my email address on the banner for you here. Give me just a second. And Sister Adara, it's so good to see you. So good to see you. And I'm glad that the visual is so much better than it was these past few weeks. So there we go. ShebrewRoyaltyBiz@gmail.com. Reach out to me at that email address. I would love to hear from you. Also, let's talk about my sponsor, Orderly Fashion 144. It's where you can shop for custom trends, designs, accessories, and apparel for the dapper and chic. So not just the sisters can shop there, but the brothers as well. So visit www.orderlyfashion144.com today, and I will put their information up on the screen for you right now. orderlyfashion144.com. There's also a discount code for Hebrew Royalty viewers, for my guests and my viewers. The code is QUALA15, Q-A-L-A, my name, number 15, to receive 15% off your purchases. Free shipping will also populate on orders of $70 or more. Orderly Fashion 144 is also looking for fashion models that will purchase from the website and submit full body photos wearing whatever apparel you purchased, and you can receive up to 35% of your orders and one free item per month. In order to do so, you must order at least 3 items monthly from the website. For more information, please visit www.orderlyfashion144.com or send them an email to info@orderlyfashion144.com. All right. We are breezing through this stuff. Guess why? Because we are ready to get this show on the road in a few minutes. Let's talk about My Guardian Doc. Let's talk about My Guardian Doc. Let me pop this video up here for you. My Guardian Doc.
Life can throw unexpected curveballs, and when it comes to your family's health, you need someone in your corner. Introducing My Guardian Doc, your virtual medicine program provides compassionate medical guidance and world-class care around the clock. Hi there, I'm Dr. Smith, your guardian doctor. For just $27 per month, your entire household gains access to a team of dedicated medical professionals. No surprise fees, no hidden costs, just quality care when you need it most. With My Guardian Doc, you immediately lower your micromort count and gain peace of mind knowing your family's health is always protected. From urgent care to prescription discounts, My Guardian Doc is here for you every step of the way. Join the thousands of families who trust My Guardian Doc with their healthcare needs. Visit myguardiandoc.com to sign up today, because your family's health deserves the best. Life can throw.
Okay, so the link to My Guardian Doc, should you choose to subscribe, is in the description box right below this video tonight. So visit myguardiandoc.com. There we go. All right. Who else is here? Who has joined the party? Let's see, Sister Lorraine is here. Shalawam, Sister Lorraine, Sister Dara, Sister Carla. All right. Yes, if you haven't already done so, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Hope that you're wearing your favorite turban, tee, tunic, or dress. That being said, let's sip some tea and have healthy talk. Let's get this royal tea party started. Come on. So sisters, tell me, what is your cup of tea tonight? What is your cup of tea? Post it in the chat box. Let's talk tea. What is your cup of tea? So my cup of tea tonight is masala chai spiced green tea. Yes, and that is a mouthful. Masala chai spiced green tea. And I have a splash of oat milk creamer in here. Delicious. Delicious. Let's talk about the benefits of chai tea. Here's a video by Foods for Health. This is 5 reasons to drink chai tea today. So Sister Johnny said Ticino mushroom tea. Yes, that Ticino tea is delicious, isn't it? And healthy. You're getting your prebiotics, Sister Johnny. I am so proud of you. Getting those prebiotics in. Let us watch this video. Once again, this video is about foods for health, 5 reasons to drink chai tea today.
Chai tea has been popular for generations due to its wonderful and distinct taste. Like other healthy tea varieties, such as green and oolong tea, chai tea not only tastes great, but also offers distinct health benefits. Chai tea is especially beneficial for our health due to its wonderful blend of other spices such as fennel, cardamom, clove, cinnamon, and more. Let's discuss some of the amazing health benefits of drinking chai tea regularly. First, chai tea can help to improve the overall health of our heart and cardiovascular system. This is due to the amazing combination of ingredients that it contains. Drinking chai tea can help to reduce the total levels of cholesterol, and perhaps more importantly, bad LDL cholesterol. It can also help to significantly lower triglycerides in the body, lower blood pressure, and reduce the risks of heart disease. Like other healthy teas, chai tea is also packed with an incredible amount of antioxidants. It contains potent antioxidant compounds known as polyphenols, which work to rid the body of damaging free radicals that can cause cell damage and lead to oxidative stress. These powerful antioxidant compounds can also help to improve heart health and reduce the risk of developing other diseases. Suffering from pain associated from symptoms of arthritis, then drinking chai tea regularly may be able to help. This is because chai tea is loaded with anti-inflammatory properties and compounds, which not only help to eliminate inflammatory causing diseases, but also help to reduce pain associated with arthritis. This is often attributed to the combination of ingredients such as clove, cinnamon, and ginger. Even more, these anti-inflammatory properties can reduce inflammation in the body and promote healthy-looking skin. Regular consumption of chai tea can also help to treat symptoms associated with nausea. This is because chai tea contains ginger, which has potent properties when it comes to treating an upset stomach. The ginger found in chai tea can help to reduce nausea, vomiting, and other gastrointestinal disorders. As well, the bioactive compounds found in chai tea can also relieve symptoms of an upset stomach. Lastly, drinking chai tea consistently can also help to improve digestion. This is attributed to the black pepper that is found within the tea. Black pepper can help support pancreas health and promote the secretion of digestive enzymes when consumed. This allows chai tea to help promote the digestion of both protein and fats efficiently. As well, chai tea can support the proper functioning of the gut and promote its overall health. Be sure to discuss with your medical practitioner to make sure chai tea is right for you and the correct dosage. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, comment, and share. If you would like to hear about more healthy foods and food and beauty tips, please subscribe to the channel. Have a great and healthy day. Chai tea.
All of those wonderful health benefits of just some chai tea. Imagine that. Just by drinking that tea, you get all of those health benefits. Sister Shamara says chai tea and moringa with honey. So you are on the chai tea wagon tonight. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Sister Johnny says, yes, I drink it every day. And Sister Zion, turmeric tea. All right. We are on this healthy kick, aren't we? All praises. But this is a lifestyle. This is not a fad or anything like that. This is a lifestyle for us, is it not? Is it not a lifestyle? This isn't some, crash diet or anything like that. This is our lifestyle. So once again, hit the like button, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're about to get started. I also have a favor to ask of you. We do not promote, or I do not promote on social media. Why? Because YouTube is the only social media platform that I am subscribed to. So I do not subscribe to Facebook or any of those others. So please do me a favor, for those of you that are on social media, please support this channel by sharing with those family members, friends that may happen to be on Facebook. Share with your Facebook community or other social media community. Let them know what we're doing here on Tea Time with Hebrew Royalty and invite them. They may just acquire a taste for what Tea Time with Hebrew Royalty has to offer. So please invite them to join us. So who was here for last week's show? Who, if you weren't here, were you able to watch the recording? Did you get to see last week's show with our special guest, Dr. Pierre Sergio? Wasn't he incredible? Wasn't that information just timely? It was very, very timely. I think we all needed to hear all of what he had to say last week. And since then, I've received so many messages from many of you about the show and how much it helped you. And I feel the same. There were just so many important takeaways from that show. And many of us have been grounding or earthing, it's also called, since then. And I sure have. I've been grounding daily, and I am feeling better already. It's just amazing how something that simple as walking barefooted outside on the grass, connecting with the earth, how much good that does for the body. And I am planning on getting that water, that oxygenated water. I have to get that. So I am working some things out right now so that I can get that water, and also, if it be the Most High's will, to be able to provide it for those that are in my area, that, because, Dallas is quite a bit of a ways away from here. We just can't run up there every other week, at least I can, to get the water. So I am working some things out for those of us who happen to be in this area that are interested in getting that water from Dr. Sergio. So, wow, I am just so ready to get this show started. We are waiting on our special guest to come in. But yes, let's see. Sister Johnny says, I tried it one day and I'll have to keep doing it. The grounding, yes. That grounding is so amazing. Yes, please get outside, walk around barefooted, and just connect with the earth. Connect with the earth. It's so important. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? Since we came from the ground, we came from the dirt, right? So it just makes sense that when we connect with it, that we will receive all of those benefits from connecting with it. First of all, our bodies are made up of the same elements that are in the earth. So yeah, let's plan on doing that more often. My goal has been twice a day, in the morning and evening. There have been some evenings that, I have not been able to, but for the most part, at least once a day, I have been grounded. What about you all out there? Has anyone else tried it? What has been your experience? What has been your experience? So this is, can you believe it, that we are already at the end of April? Can you believe that? I mean, these days are just flying. These weeks are flying, and these months are flying. So welcome to the 4th Sunday in April, Alternative and Complementary Medicine and Therapy Month. So every Sunday this month, we have been focusing on topics pertaining to alternative and complementary medicine and therapy, such as chiropractic care. We had a show by Sister Patricia on colon hydrotherapy. That was another incredible show. And we did not get to aromatherapy and herbal medicine, but in the future, if it be the Most High's will, we'll delve into those as well. Sister Zion said, time is flying. Yes. Sister Ahab said, jasmine and chamomile with a little lemon. Yes. Gotta have that lemon. Yeah. And Sister Zion said, great month. Yes, it's been an amazing month. We've had so many knowledgeable special guests that have, donated their time to come in and teach us and to educate us about these very important areas. And I'm just so grateful. I'm just so grateful for them. And I know you are as well. I personally have learned so much in this past month. I am so thankful for this platform. And I am just looking forward to what the Most High has for us in the future. So tonight, we are going to delve into the topic of nutrition. And I know that we focused on functional nutrition back in February, but I believe that this topic is so very important and deserves an encore. What do you think? What do you think? I really do believe that we can't talk enough about nutrition. Hence the title of tonight's show, The Importance of Nutrition. That's the title of tonight's show. And our special guest, Aundre Raashad, has a wealth of knowledge and experience in this area, which he has so graciously offered to share with us tonight. And so let me give you a little bit on Aundre's background as we wait for him to come in. I know he said he's on the road, so we're just waiting on him to come in. So just be patient. He'll be here. And let me just give you a little bit about Aundre's background. Aundre is a certified fitness and wellness coach and a musician from Hampton, Virginia. So he's coming in from Virginia tonight. He is also a part-time health journalist, researcher, and writer. He releases a monthly newsletter on Substack where he outlines information gathered from his experience and personal research working with hundreds of clients since 2015. So he has some experience under his belt. So Aundre graduated with the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mass Communications from Norfolk State University in 2018. While in school, he obtained multiple nutrition and wellness certifications from the National Academy of Sports Medicine, NASM, that he has maintained since then. Aundre is constantly working behind the scenes using his platform to educate the masses about holistic approaches to healing and recovery, regulatory capture, the relationship between government and Big Parma, and the untold truths about vaccine and medication injuries, safety issues, and much more. So please help me to welcome Aundre Raashad. Let me bring him in. He is here. Come on in, Aundre. Welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Shalom, sis. How you doing today?
Shalom. Shalom. I am so blessed. It's so good to see you. So good to see you. Welcome to Tea with Hebrew Royalty.
Yes, ma'am. It's a blessing to be seen. You have been doing an amazing job thus far. I was listening in. I had to turn you off in the background so it wouldn't echo. But
Oh my gosh, the water, the water. Praises, all praises to the Most High. We are just so very blessed to have you here tonight. I'm reading your bio, and it's like, oh my gosh, this young man has done so much.
yes, ma'am.
Has done so much. You've been making your father proud. I got to say.
All praises to the Most High. All praise.
All praises to the Most High. So, Andre, what do you have to say? Is there anything else that I missed that you would like to tell us about you?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You didn't miss anything. I thank you for that introduction. You did it so beautifully. The only thing I would add is that my ultimate goal is to first and foremost serve the Most High God in heaven, but also serve His people. You know, my perception, and I always make it clear on whenever I go on any podcast or any publication, or I always say my perception of health is the same perception that Christ had. I try to follow suit. I mean, Christ's perception was to heal you, not manage sickness. Christ didn't give you a pill. He didn't, it wasn't an allopathic model like we do in modern healthcare. It wasn't a
Mhm.
situation like, okay, you have a sickness, let me treat only the symptoms. Christ would go straight past the symptoms and he would say, hey, listen,
Mhm.
we are going to heal you. Let's figure out how we can heal you. And 9 times out of 10, 90% of that healing dealt with the accountability and what that person could do. And of course, it dealt with their faith. So that's my main goal when it comes to healing. Is to, I guess, do like Solomon said and have people to consider their ways. So if there was anything else I would say about me, I would just say I'm a servant of the Most High, and I'm just a man trying to do, I guess, my just due service.
All praises. And we thank you for that because there's plenty of band-aids out there. And I I myself walked away from that career, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because I saw it every day. I saw it every day. You give a pill to someone, and guess what? They come back the next time, they have more problems, side effects, right? Not saying that there's not a place for that medicine. There is a place for that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's unfortunate that people bypass the primary goal, which is healing. They bypass that to get a quick fix and a temporary fix. So
Yes.
I am so thankful for those like yourself that saw the big picture
Yes, ma'am.
and allowed the Most High to use you as healers. And so, with that being said, you have the platform. This is your night. Please teach us about the importance of nutrition.
Yes, ma'am. Um. Well, one, like you said, all praises to the Most High, and because I have to give double honors to you too. Like you said, you were in that industry, and I think it takes a lot for somebody like Nicodemus to be in the midst of something, but to walk away from something and say, "Listen, it's not conducive." No matter how long I was in it, no matter what I learned from it, there may have been beneficial tools, but it's not conducive. Paul did the same thing, and I think that's what we all do. So I guess the first thing I'll say about nutrition is to keep in mind that we're considering our ways, but keep in mind what you just said about walking away from something and making a lifestyle change. A lot of people, they see nutrition as something temporary that they can do. And one example I'll give is if you buy a sports car, you got a BMW. It's a luxury car. It's a very nice car. You don't put
Mhm.
premium gas. You don't put premium gas in the car only when you want it to perform well. You don't say, okay, you know what? I want my car to do well this weekend. I'm gonna put premium gas in it. You have to,
Mhm.
the entire lifespan of this car, use premium gas. So the point I make about that when it comes to nutrition is I tell my clients it's not an option. You are literally, this is a lifestyle change. Good nutrition should be your lifestyle. It's not something that you say, I want a lot of energy today, I'm gonna drink a smoothie. It's not a one day thing. It's not a, it's a lifestyle. But
Um,
thing with the walk of Christ, that's the point I made. Whenever Christ healed somebody, he would say, listen, go sin no more. That represented
mhm.
change because a person had to change something about what they were currently doing that put them in the situation that they were in. So when it comes to nutrition, the biggest thing it takes is that personal responsibility of that person to say, hey, listen, this is a lifestyle change I'm making. I don't have an option. McDonald's is not a choice. It's not even food. Wendy's is not a choice. It's not food.
Right.
Rallies is not a choice. It's not food. And when you really adopt that mindset, it's so much easier to say I am only putting premium gas in my body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Temple of the Most High. So I have a responsibility to care for this temple. And before I even get into how nutrition works, another example I'll give, I like to motivate people first so they see the importance of what nutrition is and the lifestyle that they should live. Another example I'll give is we understand the Old Testament, all the washings, all the cleansings, all the laws that the Pharisees, or even not just the Pharisees and the scribes, that the priest had to keep within the temple. If they couldn't even go with the wrong spirit, they may drop dead, as we know. And if the temple in the New Testament becomes your body, how much work do you have to do now to maintain the cleanliness of your temple the way they maintain the cleanliness of the physical temple in the Old Testament? There's no difference. If our body becomes the temple of the Most High, we have a responsibility to handle our temple as such. The Most High gave us this. This is the vessel he gave us. Shouldn't we show him that we care for it? So I tell people all the time, you know, a cheat day doesn't exist. There's healthy ways to eat snacks. There's healthy ways to eat things that you like. But when it comes to these things that are literal poisons, keep them out of your diet. It's that simple. So I guess to oversimplify, I'll say there's life and death in your diet. And you either eat life, knowing
And using that analogy of the BMW, the sports car, you can go out and junk that sports car and get another one. You can't just junk this body, this vessel, and go get another one.
The only one you got.
It's the only one.
Only one.
Perfect. So tell me, what inspired you to become a fitness and wellness coach, especially with certifications in nutrition? Was there something that in particular that inspired you or someone?
Yes, ma'am. First and foremost, I always say all praises to the Most High, but truly it was my father and my sister. I lost my father young to a brain tumor and some other health issues. And my sister, she's dealt with a terminal sickness since her childhood, and they basically said that she wouldn't live to be 18. All praises to the Most High. She's 29 now. But I said all that to say we found ourselves as a family in multiple situations where we had to learn how to maneuver the medical field in order to save not just my sister's life, but in order to understand how we lost my father. So I'll say I feel like the Most High used that as something to plunge me into health and say, listen, you are going to have that mindset, that personal responsibility plays a role, but also we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So once I learned certain things that I saw physically save my sister's life, especially back in 2015, that's the year they gave her a death sentence, and that's the year she overcame that death sentence. All praises to the Most High. That was I just get my first certification, because when I learned the little things that I learned that year that saved her life, something as simple as probiotics. I may not have time to tell that full story, but I'll just give you a short synopsis. Something as simple as good bacteria, probiotics, saved her life. When I learned how important that was with nutrition, I said, nah, people have to know this. So since then, I feel like I've been on a mission to just help our people avoid being destroyed for their lack of knowledge.
Amen. Wow, what an incredible story and a journey. And that's so interesting. We've been talking about probiotics the last couple of shows, pro and prebiotics. So how amazing is that you come with this story? So sisters out there, you heard this story. So now you hear the importance of what we've been talking about the probiotics. It's not just for gut health, it's for overall
Absolutely
health, because everything, diseases come from the gut primarily.
Yep. 80% of the, and I'm sorry to cut you off, sis.
No, go ahead.
80% of the immune system is found in the microbiome, and of course that ecosystem is powered by good bacteria, and there must be a symbiotic balance of bacteria. You know, the Most High is amazing, and I'll say understand nutrition this way. So the Most High is amazing. We can go strictly from creation. You could look at something like volcanic rock, basalt, granite.
Mhm.
These things break down over time into the soil. They bring minerals into the. You have animals who, of course, they pass away. They go into the ground. Even in the Old Testament, the scripture said, "Pour the blood into the ground," because the Most High understood what the decomposition and the microbes and how all these things that have a symbiotic relationship. These things create nutrition. But what's so amazing about the soil is, if you look at modern farmers today and what they're struggling with, a lot of their soils are stripped of lactobacillus, bifidobacterium, and certain bacteria. So they have to in those farmlands and go to other lands where bacteria still exist in the soil, because without bacteria, the soil itself can't benefit from the nutrients. You can put as much nitrogen, phosphorus, calcium as you want into the soil. The plants won't absorb it if bacteria isn't there. Our body works the same exact way. And it's beyond important that we understand this, because um, imagine, this is the way I try to look at nutrition. Imagine that disease doesn't exist, just for 30 seconds. This is just my hypothesis. Disease,
Okay.
but adaptation to stress does exist. So what happens is you have physical, chemical, and emotional stressors. Spiritual can be emotional, same thing. But if a physical distortion takes place, if I'm in a car accident, that's a physical distortion. Multiple things can happen where that damages my body and it damages how my nervous system works. All of that healing still comes from the origin of that healing still comes from the gut. Um, if I'm poisoned, the origin of that healing still comes from the gut. That's a chemical. If I take a bad vaccine, or a vaccine at all, we know they all bad. But I know we on YouTube, so I'm gonna watch my tongue. But if I take a vaccine, that's a chemical poison. The beginning of that healing still starts with the gut. Um, I don't know, an emotional. If I find myself in a situation where I'm being emotionally abused and I'm stressed out and I stress myself into a stroke, what was the mechanism that actually caused that stroke? Because I didn't take anything, I didn't do anything. That was emotional stress. But the body still responded the same as if there was a physical or a chemical stressor there. And this is why I give the hypothesis to say, when thinking about nutrition, imagine that disease is an adaptation to a stressor, because now that gives you the opportunity to use the process of elimination and say, let me outline nutrition wise, let me outline all of the physical, chemical, and emotional stresses in my life. And through process of elimination, if I can eliminate these things, I'm now eliminating disease or dis-ease. And if I can eliminate these things, for example, just nutrition, I'll say, I'll FaceTime a client. I used to do this when I was in college. I would FaceTime a client and I would say, show me your kitchen cabinet. And I would have them line up all of the stuff that I consider to be trash and not food on the counter. And we would go through the thing and read the ingredients. And I would actually explain, these are the chemical stresses in your life. These are some of them. These are the chemical stresses in your life. And it's important to understand the way, like you said, nutrition in the gut actually works. If you don't mind, I'll talk about neurology for a moment.
Go ahead.
So you got the 10th cranial nerve. It's the vagus nerve. It runs from the gut to the brain to the gut, back and forth. Um, all nerves in the body, they have either efferent aspect or afferent aspect. All that means is they either send information from the brain to the area of the body, or from the area of the body to the brain. Most nerves are wired 90% brain to body. The vagus nerve, or the 10th cranial nerve, which is the gut, it's called the enteric brain, because that nerve actually is wired 90% gut to brain. The brain only sends 10% of information down to the gut. Most of that information is being sent up as sensory input. So we think about how important the gut is, because you literally become what you eat. And then I'll take it a step further and say you become what you eats, because we all know about the importance of grass-fed healthy meats. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I'll get into that in a moment. What I'll say, just to get back to the physiology for a moment of neurology, is um, don't just see the gut as something that digests food. That's You minimalize the gut well beyond what the Most High created. The Most High is a genius in all his ingenuity. The gut has a brain of its own. And that's why I said, imagine it's an adaptation to stress. Imagine a bad diet is a chemical stressor that you've now put into your gut. And when your body reacts to that bad diet with dis-ease or disease, and you develop chronic illness, your body is saying, hey, listen, I'm trying to give you a warning light. It's an engine light. I'm trying to give you a warning. Change something about your nutrition, because this is not conducive for your physiological health or for your health at all. The gut is genius, and I'm talking about heartbeat function is regulated through the 10th cranial nerve. Lung respiration, all of the lung function, the kidneys, the liver, all of those nerve functions, those nerve roots, they originate on that 10th cranial nerve. And I'm getting a lot into the nervous system, but I stress these points because my personal perception is, if people understand how the body works like they do a car, they'll know why they need to put the best things in the body. Yes, ma'am. So,
junk in, junk out. It's as simple as that, right?
yeah, yes, ma'am.
You
Yes,
can't put junk in your body and expect it to be healthy. But you went over that analogy even with the gas in the car.
yeah.
And unfortunately, so many of our people are raised in areas where it's inundated with these fast food places,
Yes.
these quote unquote convenience stores, right? These inconvenient convenience stores.
That's a good one.
You're hungry, and the first thing you see is a fast food restaurant. And like you said, that is not even food.
Yes.
I wonder, has anyone really taken the time to do a biopsy on, on some of that meat?
Yes.
What would come back if we sent that meat off to a lab, if we did a biopsy?
So some people actually have. There's a nonprofit you can look up called the Informed Consent Action Network. They funded quite a few studies of basically
Informed consent.
Yes, ma'am. Informed Consent Action Network. It's ICAN. ICA. They actually do a lot of litigation when it comes to people who believe they have been injured by vaccines. They handle a lot of their court cases, but they also fund studies. And one study that they funded, and you might be able to find it on PubMed on the NIH website, is the difference in mineral uptake, vitamin and mineral uptake between GMO foods or GMO meats and grass-fed beef. And what they found was tremendous. What they found is, excuse me, I'll use corn as an example because corn was a part of the study. They said to get the amount of vitamin C or to get the amount of vitamin D in corn, in GMO corn, you would need to eat 25 pieces of GMO corn to get the same amount that you would get from one piece of organic corn. Now this is just the corn. Now the meat, it was ridiculous. It was like a 6-to-1 ratio. One, nobody's eating that much, but the thing about the genetically modified foods is this: the chemical stressors are also there. It's not just the so-called vitamins and minerals that we just discussed. So if you ate, I don't know, 25 pieces of GMO corn, you might die. I'm not being funny. You might,
Yeah.
because of the poison that's in it. So it's like you find yourself in a situation where you already are starting in the negative. Just by eating that food, you don't really nourish yourself. And like I said, understanding how the body works, we are alive because of assimilation of nutrients. You know, the way, we turn fats to fatty acids, carbohydrates to usable sugars, and proteins to amino acids, and then back to proteins so we can use them in different immuno functions or blood system functions, circulatory system functions. But what's interesting to me is this: we don't understand how constituted we are, because if I'm having an issue, I'll just word it this way: the banana I eat is going to turn into eye tissue, or it's going to turn into my hair. So will the McDonald's burger. That's the way it works. The body, we are alive because the body has the ability to assimilate nutrients, and the Most High was a genius creating that. So understanding how nutrients are assimilated, I think the simplest question to ask is, if I want to build healthy eye tissue, if I want to build healthy fingernails, if I want to build healthy hair, which one is more beneficial? The banana turning into my hair, or the McDonald's fries and milkshake turning into my hair? It was
Right, or that non-meat meat.
Yeah, or yes, or which is the most foolishness that I've ever seen. Just eat the meat if that's what you're gonna do. Why are you doing that? But anyway, I would break it down that simple, but I'll say also just understand what foods have to offer. I give my clients a challenge, and I'll give your viewers a challenge, sister. I'll say, next time you eat a meal, Google all the vitamins and minerals that's in the foods, and it might change your mind. Like if you have some Alfredo or you have a plate, you might have some chicken, some broccoli, some noodles, some whatever. If you have the packages that stuff came from, if it wasn't from a farmer's market, or if it wasn't organic or whatever, if you have the packages that stuff came from, Google the nutritional content of that food and really challenge yourself to see what you're taking in. And I think that'll change the perception of what people put into their body. But I'll say the importance of understanding nutrition also is this. It arms you with a different level of intelligence once you understand how the body works. Like, so for example, you understand this, sis, that the body needs certain things to break down certain things. So I'll give an example. You need potassium to absorb salt. You need salt to absorb potassium. They work hand in hand. You need salt to absorb proper hydration. That's why the best hydrating drinks, they load them with salt. Now, Gatorade is a terrible one. I recommend coconut water because it's a healthy one. It has all of the minerals you need. It has all of the electrolytes you need, but it has that salt content, and that's what hydrates you. There's been studies to show athletes when they're on the field, when they were drinking just water, they still found themselves to be dehydrated because now we're talking about molecular biology. You have to be hydrated on a cellular level. The body works on a cellular level. So the same thing works with absorption of minerals and nutrients. So like, for example, people with low iron, I have a lot of clients with low iron. They take loads of iron pills and their iron will not go up because their vitamin C intake is still low. You need vitamin C to absorb iron. Your body won't absorb it. You'll urinate it out or it'll just float around in your bloodstream and cause other issues, but you won't absorb it into the cells. And there's so many different things that work that way when it comes to nutrition. Vitamin D works that way with things like vitamin K. That's why when you eat kale, you get the vitamin D, but the vitamin K2 is also in the kale. And that's what helps you. So there's a lot of different things that work hand in hand that way. And the easiest way, instead of trying to track all the vitamins and minerals and say, I'm going to take this supplement, I'm going to do this, the easiest thing to do is to eat a well-balanced diet. You know?
Amen.
I'm sorry, what you say, sir?
I said amen.
Yes, ma'am. Easiest thing to do is to eat a well-balanced diet. Because what you understand is the Most High is a genius in all his creation. He put 84 minerals in pink Himalayan salt. Who would think to do that outside of our creator? He put 84 different minerals in organic omega-3 fatty acids, the EPA and DHA that we get from salmon, we get from certain fish. He put that. All you have to do is get an organic source and eat it. He put it in the kale. Now the thing about the plants that I think a lot of that I would encourage people to understand about nutrition, I think a lot of people who go vegan don't understand this, is the body uses fats to absorb. One example I'll give, and this is a terrible example, but I give it to show that even Satan understands the way molecular biology works, and he uses it against us. You look at the COVID-19 vaccine. They wrapped that spike protein that they wanted people to receive in what? A lipid nanoparticle. So because they understood that the body would reject that spike protein without it being wrapped inside of fat. The body wouldn't absorb it if it wasn't wrapped inside of fat. So what they did, they created a lipid nanoparticle, because lipids are fats, and then they used that lipid nanoparticle as the Trojan horse to get your mitochondria or your blood cell, well, I'll say the powerhouse within the blood cells, to receive that spike protein. Nutrition works the same way. So you need fats, and you need the presence of fats and proteins to absorb certain minerals. So a lot of people will say, I ate a lot of greens this week, but I'm not really seeing a difference. I'm like, okay, let me ask you a question. Did you maybe cook those greens in organic grass-fed butter, or maybe some organic kefir or ghee, or maybe even some olive oil? That's a healthy fat. Maybe some coconut, maybe some avocado oil. These things are way better options than that vegetable oil trash that you can put into your lawnmower. I wouldn't use that. I wouldn't eat it. Canola oil is also trash. That's rapeseed oil. It's not even just pure GMO. There's something they made up in the 70s, 60s. But I make this point to say, Paul and Peter gives the example in scripture, where they talk about a body of Christ. and they say, we all have a function within the body of Christ. And the Most High is consistent in all he does. He's not a man that he should lie. The Bible says he changes not. And we joke about standing on business. He does it from Old Testament to New Testament. He doesn't change. And what you find out is he does the same thing in his creation. So within a marriage or within a relationship or even within the body of Christ, we all have to work together in order to nutrition works the same way. I can't just eat figs and say, okay, I'm getting all I need. I'm going to be healthy. Now, figs have a lot of fiber, a lot of vitamin A, a lot of magnesium. These things are very helpful, but I can't just be okay with that. I can't just be okay with kale. I also can't just be okay with grass-fed beef either. I have to have a balanced diet. So the point I make is I want people to change their perception of what is difficult, change their perception of what is possible, and then realize that it's simpler than we make it. I'll give an example. Somebody say, well, what does a well-balanced diet look like? I'll say, make a list of all the foods that grow in your area. Make a list of all the animals, the clean animals that are native to your area. Eat them. That's a well-balanced diet. You get the local bacteria from the local soils. If you get local honey, you get the local bacteria from that. You fight against the local, deal with allergies, help you with the local. And it's very simple. We make it more complex. It's only in modern society where we can ship a carton of eggs and apples from California all the way to Virginia, and it stay okay the entire time, and then we have it on our shelf for 2 or 3 more weeks. Food doesn't work that way. Like, you look at an organic piece of grass-fed goat's milk cheese or cow's milk cheese, and you leave it on the table. Just try it out. Get some organic cheese, leave it on the table. Within 24 hours, it's growing mold. And within 48 hours, it's growing legs and it's walking away. If bacteria doesn't want it, you don't want it either.
Right.
And this is, we really have to understand the importance of bacteria and molecular biology. Like, we operate on a cellular level. The Most High is a genius. And maybe I'm over explaining it, but I really stress this point to people to say, it's not just a piece of cheese. Look at what's in the cheese, because your body breaks it down and your body uses it in the cheese. It uses the carbohydrates to the usable sugars. So a lot of people say, there's a lot to learn about nutrition and so much we can get into. It is, but it's really simple. And this is why I stay on these simplistic points, because the average person, I could talk about the way the duodenum works or the way the gallbladder works. And these things are great. They're good to know. But I guess what I'll say is I'd rather keep it simple, because what I would stick with people is it's possible, it's necessary, and you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. Now, I'll say, when you talk about organ function, since I use the gallbladder as an example, it's good to know what they do, because it also takes into account your diet. The gallbladder emulsifies the bowel. You need the presence of healthy fat to emulsify the bowel, because, like we just talked about, the body won't absorb anything if fat isn't present. So once you understand what the gallbladder does, maybe that will encourage you to go do something healthy too. One example I'll give is a lot of people ask for stuff like blood cleansers. And I'll say, before you take a blood cleanser and you go on an herbalistic cleanse, find out what the blood does. Do research on what's in the blood, the immune system cells, what they do. Do research on how the blood functions and what organ functions, help it out. And that will influence what herbs you take and everything. And that'll influence you understanding that once you do this blood cleanse, live a clean lifestyle. It's okay to detox every now and then. I think we should. But I think a lot of people, they look at a detox and they say, I can eat whatever I want, then I'm a detox. Then I'm going to eat whatever I want again, then I'm a detox. It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work that way. I'll yield, because I know I've been talking for a minute. I would like to hear.
No, that's quite a bit of information. Let our guests know, if you have any questions whatsoever, please post them in the comment box, the chat box, or if you want to come on video, please come on video and ask your question. Because last time, I know there were people that were saying, oh, I wish I had asked this question, I wish I had asked that question.
Yeah.
And now is the perfect time to get in on the conversation, especially if you're having any issues whatsoever, any health issues whatsoever. This is a good time to ask, get these questions answered. So please post in the comment box or come on video. If you want to come on video, let me know, and I'll put a link. I'll send you a link so that you're able to come in on video and talk to Aundre.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
And something you said earlier that I also wanted to get into was you asked, why did I choose to be a trainer? Just so people know, this is a kombucha, like you say, a healthy drink. This is good bacteria. So just the example we gave, I try to do one every other day.
All praises. And we are learning how to make our own kombuchas. We're making kombuchas now.
Are you serious?
Oh, I have 2 gallons brewing right now.
What?
Yeah, it's good. It's some good stuff.
Our people are gifted. I'll tell you, our people are gifted.
I tell you, we at Tea Time with Hebrew Royalty, this is for real. This is serious for us. This isn't, like we said, a fact. We are committed to making lifestyle changes. And so that's why we need people like you to come on here and educate us, because we don't know everything. Yeah, even being in the medical profession, we learn a certain way.
Yes.
We do have education on the nutrition and so on, but for the most part, we refer our patients to nutritionists so that they can get exactly what you are talking about tonight. Get more in-depth education about how to eat and why you're eating the way that you're eating. Because a lot of people go to see their doctors, go to even nutritionists, and they still come out of there with questions.
Confused, yeah.
Understanding, well, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Because you mentioned the salt, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things that you mentioned is salt. But imagine going to your doctor and your doctor is telling you, well, you have hypertension and you need to eliminate salt.
Yes. Happens all the time.
All the time. And then you're wondering why, okay, I'm not getting any iodine.
Yep.
Why am I getting a goiter?
Yes. And I'll tell you, what's so crazy about that is it's not salt, it's the type of salt you eat. This is a study people in 2011, the American Heart Association funded a study to see the difference between heart attacks, the widowmaker heart attack specifically, and salt intake. And what they found is people who had a lower salt intake were dying from widowmaker heart attacks at a higher rate. How does that make sense? Because salt is a mineral that you need. You need it. And what happens is it's not the salt, it's the type of salt. Stop eating that foolishness that you get from, I can't think of the name of the company. We are in the blue bottle with the white
the blue box with the little girl with the umbrella.
Yes.
What's the name of that salt? Oh my God.
Lawry's? Is it Lawry's?
Lawry's, I think. God, that is so. I mean, that's so old.
It's trash.
People are still using that salt.
Yes, it's madness.
But my question is about the pink Himalayan salt, because the ones that I've come across have no iodine. So I've been using more of the Celtic salt.
Yes, yep.
Because that now has the iodine in it as well as all of the other minerals.
Yes. So the pink Himalayan salt, because of where it comes from, it doesn't have much iodine, because iodine is found in seaweed in the highest concentration. You get iodine in seaweed. So like you said, the Celtic salt or even some kosher salt, depending on where they got that from, if it was near water, if it was underwater, it's full of iodine. So what I do is balance. I'll have the Celtic salt and I'll have the Himalayan salt. I use them both. Okay. Another option for people who don't have Celtic salt is get iodine in your diet as much as possible. Get some seaweeds, get some chlorella, some spirulina, some seaweeds in your diet. Get some bananas. Bananas are full of iodine. You have to eat a lot of them, but you should probably anyway. So I'll tell my clients, of course, depending on where you are and what access you have, do the best you can to get those different salts. But if you can't, definitely explore some of those other options with iodine. Yes, ma'am. But that's a great point you make. There's quite a few clients of mine who will choose that Celtic salt over that pink Himalayan salt. I've seen it happen, and I think they're both great choices. Something you said that I think was the Holy Spirit. Is when you talked about how doctors refer out. And I wanted to answer your question. You said, why did I choose training in nutrition over the medical field? Excuse me. And the reason is, once again, I talk about this symbiotic relationship between the nervous system. So I'll explain it this way. So when embryo was happening, when the sperm first couple hours of inception, you see on a cellular level, you see this cord being formed, and that's the spinal cord. And then as you know, they have all these scientific words. I'm going to say the baby. As the baby grows, you see nerves grow off the spinal cord, and then you see organs grow off the nerves, and then you see the baby in holistic form actually form. Now, I make this point to say, you live your body through your nerve. You live your life through your nervous system. Everything is done and manipulated by the nervous system. So, me understanding that, my thought process is, why do we have a gastroenterologist? Why do we have a neurologist? Why do we have a cardiologist? Why do we have a pulmonary doctor? Why do we have all these different doctors when the entire body works together? And you have these doctors that don't know anything about the other part of the body. And this is no disrespect, but I could not go ask a gynecologist anything about the brain. They wouldn't know. As a cardiologist, much about the lungs. They're close together, but they wouldn't know much about the lungs. I can't even ask. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, I make this analogy all the time, that when someone comes in for an appointment, when they come to see me, I look at them as a whole person, right? The body part did not come in by itself.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to address that whole person.
Yes.
And even, because we don't know, everybody doesn't know everything, but being knowledgeable enough to know, you know what, I'm not very well versed in this area, but I know enough to know that you need to see someone that is well versed in that area.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I can tell that it's not just the arm that's the problem. You may have come in with a complaint of the arm, but now I realize that, maybe it's something else. Mm-hmm. It could be a muscular problem. I'm having a pain in my elbow, but maybe it's not the elbow.
Yeah.
Let's do some x-rays. Let's see your ergonomics. How are you sitting? How are you functioning? To be able to get to the root of the problem.
Yes.
And sometimes it requires more than one person coming together, putting your heads together, so that you are able to come up with the proper diagnoses and get to the root of the problem. But what I found was, so many people were being misdiagnosed.
Yeah.
Whether it's because of someone's arrogance, where they feel as though, well, if I send this person to somebody else, it may appear as though I don't know what I'm doing, rather than recognizing your limitations and now bringing someone else on board to help you, to help this patient to become whole. And I think that's where working together as a body, I mean, even with what we're embarking on right now, I don't want to go into too much details about it, but what we're embarking on as a body, let me put it that way, where we're getting people together with different backgrounds to come together to help heal the nation, right? Because we realize that one person cannot do it all.
Absolutely.
And we all need each other. We all need each other based on the different strengths, the different abilities that the Most High has given us.
Yes.
Some he has given abilities in this area, some in this area, and for us to be able to come together on with one mind, right? Under one spirit, to be able to accomplish the mission. And so that's what I'm excited about, is us getting together like this, like you and I tonight,
Yes.
and bringing others on board so that we can help heal our nation.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And this is my point 100%. What I witnessed in the medical field was you had a perception of togetherness, but the reality was nobody received the adequate help because it was not a symbiotic relationship. One, everybody was, like you said, pretty arrogant and, you know, not willing to admit something, or not willing to say, you know what, I don't know. Not willing to say, I'm a doctor, and when you see me on my computer, I'm on the CDC website myself. I'm on Mayo Clinic myself, trying to figure out what you're dealing with. But they tell you to don't self-diagnose when we all looking at the same sources of information. It's interesting. But my point is, I witnessed that symbiotic relationship was not there. And I said, you know what I've witnessed from the holistic point of things is, it's a holistic point of view, meaning I'm looked at for the entire body. They're not just addressing, if I say I have migraines, they don't go straight to my head and say, let's figure out what's up with your head. A naturopathic medicine doctor, or a chiropractor, or a master herbalist, somebody with a holistic point of view, or a nutritionist, or a wellness coach like myself, we are all going to say, we're going to address this head, but let's address your posture. Let's see what's happening up with the cervical spine. Let's address the gut. Let's address your nutrition. Let's address your sleep. How are you resting? Are you getting adequate sleep? Let's address your hydration. All of these things have something to do with why you have a headache. Like I said, it's an engine light. It's a warning light. So I'm thankful because, like you said, you are more likely to call in someone else to help you serve someone else when you look at the body holistically. Because the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know. I have clients where I've had to reach out to Dr. Truman, and I call him like I'm Dr. Truman. I'll give an example. I had a client, she was going through a lot in her pregnancy, to the point where they thought she would lose her baby. She wanted to stay vegan. So I said, you know what? I'm not very versed with keeping you vegan while also trying to help serve you as far as dealing with what you need. Let me reach out to Dr. Truman. And reaching out to Dr. Truman actually confirmed something that I thought I knew. So it was a blessing. Reached out to Dr. Truman. He was like, no, she needs some grass-fed. Her B vitamins were so low in her blood work. She needs grass-fed beef. Nothing else would get to that. She needs grass-fed beef. And I was like, I thought so. I appreciate that. So the spirit was confirmed. I reached out to the sister and said, hey, listen. I said, I know you're doing all you can taking those B supplements. I said, stop it. We're going to get you on a V complex, but we're really going to get you on some organic beef bone broth, cook your vegetables in it. Then I want you eating grass-fed beef at least 3 to 4 times a week. Get it in your diet. Organic grass-fed beef. And if you can't get it, get the lamb. If you can't get the lamb, get the venison. Some type of organic grass-fed red meat. Because even the scriptures gave the example when Elijah was fasting, when the angel told him, go off the strength of the meat. Sometimes you need that, but in proper context. So long story short, all praises to the Most High. About 90 days later, the sister's blood work was basically normal. But it wasn't until all praises. But it wasn't until I reached out for assistance where something I thought that I knew was true was confirmed. And I even learned more about it from a different perspective. And I think about the willingness to do that. You have to be humble in this work, but you really have to understand that the body is holistic. There is so much going on with the body at once, at all times. As we speak right now, you know, we have, I won't say a name, but I had a client within the church recently come to me, cancer diagnosis. So I'm working with this client. And the first thing I explained to him was, I said, understand this. Health, my perception of health and good nutrition is the body building up faster than it breaks down. I said, when you understand how the body works, you understand that you rebuild yourself every day. Every day, cancer specifically, you have these things within the blood cells called natural killer cells. It's a very specific type of white blood cell, specifically a type of lymphocyte. So it's within the lymphatic system. which is the main system that usually clears out anything cancerous. These NK cells are called natural killer cells, of course. Their main job is to find cancerous cells or cells that multiply in unnatural ways and purge them out. It's their main job. That's just one cell. You have macrophages. These are big eater cells. They eat things, and then the waste is metabolized. You have lymphocytes, just a bunch of different types of cells that do different jobs. You have the spleen. The spleen checks every single blood cell individually, one at a time. It's amazing the way the body works. And what the spleen will do is if the blood cell is good, it will put it back in rotation. If it's not good, nothing is wasted. It breaks it down and then it sends it over to the liver to be metabolized and to be used. And I think about these things and I say to myself, you have all of these mechanisms in your body every day to stop you from getting cancer. So when you get cancer, what's happening now is the body is breaking down faster than it's building up. We have to ask why. And this is why I say, let's just propose for a moment that maybe disease doesn't exist, but maybe adaptations to stress exist. And maybe when your body has gotten to the point where it can no longer adapt with the mechanisms that it was given, now you find yourself at a point of dis-ease or disease. So I just push this to say, when we really understand the body and we understand the personal responsibility, we can use that process of elimination to start dealing with things and say, hey, you know what? I'm dealing with this. I'm going to fix all my chemical stressors. I'm going to eliminate the chemical stressors. I'm going to fix my nutrition and see what changes. And if I do that and I still find myself in that position, maybe it wasn't the nutrition. Now let's go to physical distortions. Maybe I have nerve damage. Maybe there's a subluxation. Maybe I was exposed to something. Let's go to chemical. Let's go to emotional. Maybe the Most High is trying to get my attention like he did David or like he did so many people in the scriptures that we see. Because even David said, you know, a broken spirit and a contrite heart is the sacrifices to the Most High. So there's many different reasons, but I just try to show people how amazing the Most High's creation is, to say, if you find yourself at a point of disease, and this is no disrespect to the person, you had to work hard to get there, or you had to truly be fooled a lot to get there. Because what happens is, I'm sorry, since I couldn't hear you.
No, I'm just agreeing with you. I just said,
It's true. Because what happens is somebody told you that what you were doing was okay, and it wasn't. And a lot of times it goes back to that when it comes to nutrition, you know. I mean, we could talk all day about the benefits of, you know, like apples. Apples have quercetin, bromelain, all of these healthy things, all of these phytonutrients and these bioflavonoids that, like I said, we break down these carbohydrates to usable sugars, these proteins to amino acids. And you know, the beautiful thing about this is, like, one fig leaf has more magnesium than the average vitamin. And if I was to ingest that fig leaf, I would get my daily intake for magnesium. But I can also do the same thing with spinach. I also can do the same thing with kale. I also can do the same thing with eggs if I eat enough of them. And it's like the Most High is truly, he's an abundant God. He's given us options, you know?
the problem is now that I think it takes more than it used to.
Yeah.
For instance, because of the condition of the soil.
Yes, I agree.
What is growing right now is not as potent, for lack of a better term, than years ago. So now you need more of the spinach. You need more of the kale. It's like you said with the one fig leaf. Where are you getting that leaf from?
I agree.
Right? You may need 2 or 3 leaves instead of one.
Yeah.
Right? Just because of what they're doing to the soil intentionally. What? Did we get disconnected there?
I think it tried to. I'm still here. Okay.
Oh, okay. I heard it sound like it was disconnected.
Yeah, it jumped for a moment, but I think I'm good. I think we're good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I'm saying what they've been doing to the soil, that our produce now is just, everything is so watered down.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And they have a solution for that as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why it's so important that with every meal that, I make the analogy of making it as colorful as possible.
Yes,
Having
absolutely.
and reds and yellows and all different colors on your plate, your peppers, your green, your tomatoes, every color of the rainbow should be on your plate.
All of the vitamins and minerals, absolutely. And something you just said, I guess it stresses the importance of why we truly have to, whenever we can, truly go non-GMO organic, because that's the best quality we can have.
Mhm.
And even that, like you said, doesn't compare to what it did 200 years ago because of what's happening with the commercially farmed soils. Now, the beautiful thing is you do have a lot of farmers out here now. They're small time, but I think this is a challenge for us that we should accept. A lot of small time farmers like Joe Sal, or even within our body, we have quite a few farmers. Shout out to Humble Servants Homestead in Georgia. We have what they're doing is they're doing a form of farming like I do in my garden called regenerative farming, where you immediately return that compost back to the soil. And so of course we need oxygen, plants need carbon, but microbes multiply at a higher rate when carbon is present. So it behooves us to take all the carbon that they think is in the atmosphere. Don't get me started on this global warming foolishness, but back to the soil. Return it back to the soil. And
Mhm.
when you look at the regenerative habits, what happens is those peppers, like you said, they have longer shelf lives. They have more microbes. The vitamin C content is higher. The vitamin D content is higher. And with peppers, the hotter you get, the more vitamin C is there anyway, which is amazing that the Most High created it that way. It's almost like He gave you an indicator, so you knew, okay, I'm dealing with something serious. I need cayenne pepper, blood cleanser. It's a vasodilator. It dilates the blood vessels. And but just back to the regenerative point, I say to myself, this is a challenge for us because there's not many farmers out here doing regenerative style farming except the smaller ones. I think it's a challenge for us to do like we did at the Montgomery bus boycott. Support what matters. Let's only support those when we have the ability to. Let's only go to those local farmers markets when we have the ability to. Let's only shop within the body and support each other. Like I just heard you making kombuchas. When that becomes commercial and you're ready to sell it, I need one. Let's
Okay.
go people. Let's go to the people who are doing it the right way, because that's going to show two things. One, I'm investing in those willing to take their time and effort to become a resource for their family and for their surrounding community. And two, I'm letting the commercial public know I am not buying into this foolishness anymore. You are going to bend to us and become regenerative and stop selling us this madness, or you will go out of business. It's easier said than done, but it's very possible because we've done it before.
Yeah, I went to a few markets when I was in California, and I asked the people there, are these GMO? Are these organic? And they're like, I don't know.
Jeez.
The workers didn't know. And so I'd move on to another one, and many of them told me, no, this is not organic. This is GMO. So the GMO is making their way
And
into,
are you serious?
yeah,
California's a my
yeah.
goodness. I I
So that's not always,
no no
you
you're right.
know,
I was about to say
that's not always foolproof.
I'm
You
about to
have to ask. You have
thank
to
you.
specifically ask.
All praises to the Most High for you bringing that forth, because that's so true. You have to make sure, because I'm going to count my blessings and say, just out of habit, me being in health, I'm always talking about it. I'm always asking. In the local farmers markets that I go to in Virginia, like Joe Sal's farm, I've driven out there before and just bought straight from him. They show me it's organic and they know it's organic, but I haven't had that experience, but it's amazing that you shared that, because it's almost like how can I word it? They want to infiltrate any way they can, I guess. I
Yeah,
hope that makes
because they're forcing, from what I see, they're forcing these farmers into bankruptcy.
they are.
And some will bend. We have to understand that there are going to be those that are going to bend in order to keep their business.
They
And
will.
so they would rather sell the GMO than go out of business. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why it's so important that we specifically ask. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like going to the store and then you see the organic on seedless fruit. And I
Yeah.
ask, how can this be organic when there are no seeds?
And
This,
sorry.
and
I was about to say,
once again, the workers, they give me that blank look like, you're right.
yeah,
Nothing can produce without seed.
yeah, and that's what's interesting, because um it's, so how can I explain it? So what happens is you have farmers who, for whatever reason, like you said, it could be off of it could be the government inspiring them to do so. But a lot of seedless varieties that they consider organic, it can be certified as organic if it meets the FDA standards for what needs to be certified as organic. And what that means is that that grape could have 4 generations ago been spliced and turned into something else. But if since then it has been farmed in an organic style, it can be considered organic by the FDA.
Yeah. But
And
it's amazing that, I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's amazing that now those are the only variation that we find now of grapes,
mhm,
right? Once upon a time, seedless grapes were few and far between.
yes,
Now that's flipped to
yeah,
where you cannot find,
see, grapes.
find any grapes with seeds in the last couple of years. And that's coming from California and even now into Texas. I
Yeah,
cannot find any grapes with seeds.
hmm
So I don't know the last time I purchased any grapes for that reason. Because I just absolutely refuse to eat that stuff. That, to me, that's drinking food.
yeah, and it's very interesting because um you would, if you go back into like old, very old school farmers, I'm talking like in the 1800s. You can look at some of these writings.
Mm-hmm.
Watermelon farmers in the South, they would talk about organic farming techniques that relied on natural pollination and selective breeding, and how if you got too creative with the selective breeding, you would end up with an organic watermelon, but this watermelon would be sterile, meaning it would be seedless, but they called it
Mm-hmm.
sterile back then. And they would say, it still has its benefits. It's still, organic. It came from the soil. It has its microbes, etc. And I guess that was the best. That's the best option to some folks. But what's interesting is when you look at watermelons, most of their magnesium comes from the seed. The seed is full of most of the magnesium. And I think to
Mm-hmm.
myself, um, how what's the word I'm looking for? You know what? I'll say it this way. The Bible says, "Let all things be done in decency and in order." So I'll say, with a lot of these seedless varieties taking off the way they are, um, this is not no disrespect to the farmers doing so. I'll say, I think it's a wake up call to some of us to educate ourselves about what we're eating, but also just understand that everything has a limit to it, if that makes sense. You know, a lot of us get caught up in the herbs and we take that too far. We start splicing, mixing, trying to see what we can do. Everything has a limit. I guess that's why I say let all things be done in decency and in order. I hope that makes sense. I pray I'm not stepping on
Yeah,
toes.
absolutely. You know, I grew up, I'm from the islands. So my mother, and I talk about this all the time, she grew everything in that backyard.
Yes, ma'am.
So I come from seeing the growth, being able to go outside and, you know, go out there and pick some peas.
Uh-huh.
And you go out and you pick the peas and you come back in and we're cooking directly from what is being grown in the backyard,
Mm-hmm.
having our own chickens, our eggs. And I remember the smell of the fruits, the aroma of the peppers. I remember when we're cutting the peppers, your fingers will burn because they were so hot.
The peppers are so hot. Yep, that happens all
The
the time.
peppers are so hot, right? The onions, you couldn't peel onions without you're crying the entire time, right? And I remember all of that. And now you get a pepper and it's like, you're trying to smell it. And there's hardly any aroma coming from the pepper.
Yeah, that's the lack of bacteria. Absolutely.
The onions, there are some onions that make you cry, but not like they used to.
Yeah.
You know, I remember my mother making hot sauce from her onions, her peppers, and so on. And you open that jar and your eyes just start watering.
Yes. It's a lack of bacteria. Absolutely.
We don't have that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Our fruits and our vegetables, it's just not the same. It's not the same.
Yes.
And I know it has to do with the soil. It has to do with the way that they're being grown. And once again, when you're growing in mass production, you know, people cut corners and all of that. We had a yard with, but for us to be able to go back to that, I think it's so important that for those of us who can, for those of us who have yards, to, you know, as much as possible, go back to growing what we can.
Yeah, I agree. Do what we can. And
do what we can.
And let's go back to the methods that we even saw in the scriptures were useful. Let's go back to the blood meal, the bone meal, the cow manure, the chicken manure, let's go back to what our forefathers did to regenerate the soil. I mean, I even found it interesting that even in the Old Testament, you had 7-year breaks where on that 7th year, you wouldn't pick. You would allow things to grow wild, almost like a food forest. Right. And you would just let it grow. And a lot of people don't understand what the purpose of that is, but that regenerates the soil. Because when you don't pick from that and those things die off, that life is given back to the soil. That bacteria is given back. Those seeds are back in the ground now. The decomposition is broken down within the funguses in the soil. The earthworm that content, and then they create soil with the waste that they give. It was just so many different things that, you know, we don't think about the scientific understanding behind why the Most High had certain things to be so. But when you look back, he was a genius, and he still is a genius. He always forever will be. So I only give that example to say I honor what you said, and I appreciate what you said, because it's us really getting back to our roots. Like 2 Chronicles 7:14, my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. I think if we expanded that to our diet, our lifestyles, and how we farmed, we still would see that major difference. Let's turn from what we currently do because it's not conducive. Like you said, let's go back to the regenerative ways of farming. Even for those, and I'll I'm sorry to cut you off. I'll
No,
say,
no, go ahead.
I'll say, even for those situations where you have some of those farmers, like I said, in the 1800s, where you would read and they would say, this is still considered organic. They just prevented fertilization. So the next generation of that fruit was sterile and it didn't have any seeds. And those things were still considered organic. So honor to those brothers. But I'll say, even in that generation, let's go back to just what our forefathers did and see if that works. Let's just go back. And because when I look back, records are kept of a lot of things. I'm very into history. I'm very into health history. You can find a lot of a lot of diseases in Roman history and Persian history, and even in Israelite history. You can find a lot of, in the history of our people, you can find a lot of these diseases that were tracked. But when I look them up and when I see the literature that's out there, it was few and far between. These chronic illnesses, a lot of them did. I couldn't define it. I can't find autism anywhere before the 1800s. I don't know. I can't find it. Vaccines were invented in the 1800s, and it's not me pointing the blame. I can't find some of these things, some of these chronic illnesses, diabetes. I don't see that anywhere before the 1900s. I truly don't. I don't see it. High blood pressure. I do not see that before the 1800s. A lot of people say it was called something else. That's not true. For example, fibromyalgia, muscular atrophy, a lot of these different things. We go back to the 1600s, and that was called scurvy. We all know that was from a lack of vitamin C.
Lack of vitamin C.
Lack of vitamin C. Now we have fancy names for it, but that's still scurvy, though.
It's still scurvy.
It's still scurvy. It's still scurvy. Still lack of vitamin C. It's still lack of nutrition. So my point is, I can go back with certain sicknesses, and I can find that parallel and say they understood back then this was a lack of nutrition. With some of these, I don't see them existing before, because, like you said, the soils were there, the nutrition was there. That one pepper they ate, it truly was a pepper.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. The chickens weren't being pumped up with hormones.
Yes, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Wow. This has been so interesting. Let's go through. I think we have some questions or comments here in the chat. Let's see here. Let me scroll down and see what we've got.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I've been talking a lot.
No. Do not be sorry. This is great information. Let's see. Delicious mango flavor. Okay. When taking vitamin D, Sister Zion says, when taking vitamin D and K, is it best to take it in liquid form?
So, the best form of any vitamin is whole food form. Is the easiest to be absorbed. Now liquid form is the second best because a lot of times liquid form goes straight to the bloodstream. But I would really check the source of that liquid form. So like vitamin D3, the liquid source, sometimes that comes from mushrooms or just from different sources. I would just make sure the liquid form that you get comes from a trustworthy source. And if it does, then that liquid form is usually the best. Outside of the whole food form itself, meaning kale or spinach or something that contains vitamin D, like mushrooms or something of that sort. The way I look at it is the things that Adam and Eve ate in the garden, we are still designed to eat those things. So if you want to get your vitamins and minerals, get them from those things first, then go into supplementation. Supplementation is necessary because of what you just said. The soils are so stripped. You are what you eat, but the bowl of spinach now isn't what it was in 1908, So supplementation is necessary. It's good to take omega-3s every day. It's good to take vitamin C and vitamin D3 every day. I'm just saying make sure it's in your diet, then supplement, if that makes sense.
Okay. Another question. I'm Andre. So is it better to eat foods with the necessary minerals and vitamins than to take it in take it from pill manufacturers? And you just answered that question.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll go even and say because you need bacteria present when you digest food. There's no bacteria present when you take that in pill form, unless you find a probiotic and you take it with that. That's pretty helpful. That will help you absorb more. But all studies that I've ever seen, and you can just go to Scholar Google, go to Google, type in Scholar Google, click on Scholar Google, and then look up studies on how food is absorbed or studies on supplements versus food being and absorption rates. In every study, you'll actually find that whole food form is always superior.
Okay, and it was Morton Salt. We were trying to remember
More,
the
yeah,
name.
more.
Morton Salt.
Yeah. Thank you to whoever came through with that.
God, we had quite a few people here letting us know it's Morton's. It doesn't have the iodine.
All praises.
My sister is there. Hey, sis, good to see you. My sister Althea is here. Sister Johnny said, Morton makes an iodine salt now. I have some for medicinal purposes, not for cooking. Celtic salt. That's Celtic salt. I don't
Yes.
know about the Morton's
I
iodized salt.
personally, brother Johnny, you said I personally would not trust
Sister,
more sister,
Sister Johnny.
sister Johnny, excuse me. I personally would not trust Morton's brand. However, if you don't mind, Sister Johnny, maybe post a link or something to that in the chat because I would love to research it. If Morton's is doing better, then all praises. I'll take your word for it. I just like you said, I just would go to that Celtic salt. I wouldn't I wouldn't trust Morton's personally.
Sister Zion says, do you have a specific brand of probiotics preference that you use and would recommend?
So as far as vitamins go, the top two brands, just as far as results that I recommend for my clients if they take a supplement, would be shout out to AHAYAH Key Supplements. And then outside of Key Supplements, there's a brand called Ancient Nutrition by Dr. Axe. He's a chiropractor. Those probiotics are very good. Now, what I'll say for any probiotic supplement, you really can take any of them, but what you want to look at is variety over amount of bacteria. So a lot of people will say, well, it has 50 billion units, and that's a lot. But that just means it has 10 billion of 5 different strains. Even if something has less as far as the quantity of the bacteria, you want to go for variety of strains. All studies show that variety of bacteria is what actually builds the ecosystem of the gut, not just presence of more bacteria. So lactobacillus is great, but there's only so much lactobacillus I can take before I need to introduce something else into the ecosystem. And that's the way the body works. So what I'll say is to answer that question, those two key supplements, Kingdom Nutrition with El Daria, he's a great brand. Ancient Nutrition is a great brand. And honestly, the best probiotics that I've seen, I've worked with clients with ulcerative colitis. I've worked with clients with Crohn's disease. I've worked with clients with just pure digestive disease that they couldn't name or they couldn't diagnose. I've worked with clients who couldn't really digest plants or couldn't really digest animals. And something that has worked for all of them across the board has been organic grass-fed yogurt, Greek yogurt, kefir, and organic grass-fed butters. And that can be a goat source or that can be a cow source. The presence of that fat along with those proteins and along with that bacteria is amazing when you get it all at once. And yogurt is kefir is a great source to get all of that at once. It helps that digestive system tremendously.
That's great information. That's good to know.
Yes, ma'am.
Sister Zion says, is dark chocolate really good for you, like they say?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm sorry, sis. You were about to answer?
No. I'm asking. These questions are for you.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So yes. So dark chocolate is full of a lot of antioxidants. You have to look at where dark chocolate comes from. It has a lot of different bioflavonoids in it, but you go back and look at the cacao. You look at those things and look at it in its raw form, full of vitamins and minerals, full of antioxidants, and you need that in your system. So dark chocolate is good, but once again, like we said, we check the source. I always tell my clients, read your labels, because that's important, like I was saying earlier. But what Sis just told us is to take reading your labels to a step further. Ask questions about what you're about to purchase too. We could take it a step further. So dark chocolate is excellent. I know
And I did a show, oh boy, it's been over a year ago. And it was about, we went into GMOs, what products to stay away from and so on and so forth. And there was an article that I brought out called Toxic Chocolate. And this was one of the, because everyone is on this dark chocolate craze, not realizing that so many of these companies
are lying.
Yes, they put in all this, like there's a lot of metals that are in these dark chocolate. So they had a list of these, like Godiva, a lot of these big name companies where they were telling me, stay away from these chocolates. And for a while, I just stopped eating any dark chocolate or chocolate at all because of that article. Even, and I shop a lot at Trader Joe's.
Me too.
And some of their chocolates were on the list. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go back into that show and the archives and bring out some of that information again.
Please do. I would love to see it.
It's called, the article was Toxic Chocolate.
You got me looking it up now. I'm trying to see if I can find that article. I'm trying to look it up right now. But
it was very eye-opening, and they went into how the chocolate is made, and all of the toxins that are in a lot of these chocolates.
Yeah, the processing, and I will say, I guess, like you said, it goes back to looking at that source, making sure that source. That cacao beans in their raw form, I'll say they have to be processed in some point for us to be able to digest them. Now, process sounds like an evil word, but all process means is handled, and broken down some. If they're processed properly, like you said, very beneficial. But I'm very interested in looking at the information. Like you said, I write those articles on my Substack. So if there's information that I find that I can share, I would love to maybe write an article on maybe the most trusted chocolate.
I'll forward it to you. You don't have to do the research. I'll forward it to you.
Please do, because I want to maybe make a list of the trusted dark chocolate sources for our people. We have a local source in Virginia. That's locally sourced that I get most of it from, and then if I'm in Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, I am researching those labels. It's my methodology for most things.
Awesome. So there's your answer, Sister Zion. Yes, overall, dark chocolate is good, but consider the source. Let's see. When will your seasons be available to purchase? When will your seasons be available to purchase?
Oh no, they're available now. I had to slow down because the season, so this sounds like a pun, but the seasons are seasonal because the pepper plants are seasonal. I'm trying to get back to the old school methodology of our ancestors only had certain foods certain times a year. I was laughing because I saw a report where everybody was panicking because Walmart was out of strawberries. And I was like, strawberries only grow about 2 or 3 months of the year. That's the only time we should have them. Let's eat them then, enjoy them then, and wait for next year to come.
and get the frozen strawberries for your smoothie.
What'd you say?
Organic. I said, and get the organic frozen strawberries for
Yes,
your smoothie.
I agree.
That's the
Yes,
only way to get them out of season.
that's the only way. You gotta freeze them. Gotta
Mhm.
freeze. Only way. And I laughed to myself because, like you said, they're looking for these fresh fruits and vegetables. And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, we've been so spoiled by modern society and ingenuity that we can have access to these things out of season and not realize that we don't really benefit from the bacteria that we could get when it's out of season that way, you know? And I don't know. I was just thinking about that. That was just something I thought about, and I thought it was funny. So to fully answer the question about the seasonings, yes, they are available for purchase because we're going into the pepper season now, and I'm growing plenty of peppers, and I'm starting to process more orders and make more orders. Um, so now that we're getting into the season, they will be available for purchase. If anybody wants,
Can
I
you
can.
put your information in the chat on how we can purchase them?
Yes, ma'am. You know what? I will put because I was watching you on my phone. I will put my email in the chat right now.
You have a website up?
I had one. We took it down because we're going to redo it. It should
Okay.
be up in 3 or 4 months. Um, I want to combine basically my company is called Gary Fitness and Wellness Company because that's my last name. I had two separate companies where I was doing the seasonings, I was doing the wellness, and now I'm trying to combine it to one company with two different things. So yes, ma'am. Once I get that paperwork back, the business number, the IN, what is it? What the IEN number? Um,
DIN. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. Once I get all that back out, I'm going to put the website back out. But for now, anybody who needs anything, please just email me and we can set it up.
All praises. You put it in there already? Let's see.
Yes, ma'am.
Populate. Don't. It's going down. I don't see it.
I
You
just
you put it you put it in, or did you send it to me, or
no,
did
I
you
put
put it in the chat box?
the live chat. Yes, ma'am. The live
Hmm.
chat in there.
It's I don't see it. It didn't. Why is it not showing up on this one here?
Maybe it's a little bit behind.
Okay. All right. Let's see if there are any other questions. You can take it in a powder form, maca, right? And then create.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. There's multiple studies done by WebMD. You can also look at PubMed. For those studies, you can just look at benefits of maca powder. Once again, I want to check the source. But as long as that source is good, you'll get the real benefits of that powder. Yes.
As Sister Dara says, I did read how 100% chocolate is not good because it is tainted with heavy metals.
Yeah. So this is the thing about the metals in the chocolate. It really has a lot to do with the process of it. But it also has to do with the, the the way the bean is grown too, because the soils contain a lot of metals in them, and it depends on where that cacao plant or that the cacao bean was was grown, the content of the soil that it came from. Um,
Mm.
I remember when I was in school, this was one of the only studies I had saw about chocolate because I'm not familiar with the ones that you mentioned. So I would like to see those. But back when I was in school, I remember talking about chocolate grown on the other side of the world versus in America, and the difference in the metals being because of the soil content themselves. Those clay soils have higher metals in them. I mean, for obvious.
Mm.
So I think it just depends on that too.
Okay. Well, I will definitely get that article over to you, and yeah, keep me updated on what you get out of that article and how we can, tweak things to to avoid that. Because what I did, I went just to the extreme where it was like, okay, no more dark chocolate for me, no more chocolate for me. I'm not dealing with that. So yeah, even with they had some of the sources on there that were healthier.
Okay, good.
But overall, there were just so many on the list that
Mhm.
they said to avoid, that at that point I just said, okay, I'm not huge on dark chocolate anyway, so it
Mm,
was just easier for me to just say, okay, I'm just going to eliminate that
I understand.
and keep it moving.
I
But
understand.
there are people that really like chocolate, and you want to be able to enjoy and indulge every now and then in something that you like,
Mhm.
especially if it is healthy.
Yes, and you do want to be able to enjoy, and that goes back to what we were saying at the beginning. I definitely see, I definitely see your point. Like you said, if you're not big into chocolate, it's no big deal. I'll just wipe it. It's not even a big deal. I won't even have it. But like you said, I also want to encourage people to be willing just to put in the work and do the research, because
Mm-hmm.
you do deserve the right to enjoy your thing. Enjoy things within your diet. You deserve the right to enjoy the things that the Most High put on this earth for us. Um, and if a little bit of research can help you find something that won't hurt you and you can enjoy it, then so be it. I think it's worth it.
Um, it's Mr. Adar says, I don't think he clicked the send button for the email address. Yeah, the email address still popped up. Can you try that again,
Yeah, I can
please?
try. To see. It's saying it's sent on my end twice now, but what I'll do is maybe I'll cut my Wi-Fi off and I'll reload. Let's see if that
Hmm,
helps.
that is so strange. This has been amazing, and you are 1 hour ahead of us out there. Um, wow, is there anything else that you would like to, you know, drop on us real quick? We don't want to hold you too late. I know it's already after 10, your time there,
Yes, ma'am, it
but this
is.
has been so informative, and I truly, truly appreciate you taking this time out to give us this information. It's been so, I mean, you're just a wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much.
No,
And we can just tell that you love what you do
thank you.
and
Yes,
you
ma'am.
live it.
Yes, ma'am. All praises to the Most High, sis. I want to tell you thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on your platform and to just share my perspective of information. If there's one last thing I'll drop on you, just for a couple moments, I'll talk about
Sure.
movement. But before I do that, I want to say thank you for your knowledge and your wisdom. And then if my email does to the chat, um, please feel free to give my email to anybody who needs it and have them reach out to me. Like I said, we will have the website up pretty soon, hopefully before fall. But I'm always reachable by email. That's the main way I communicate. Um, but the last thing I'll leave people with is we're talking about nutrition. So a lot of people don't think exercise is a part of that. And I'll say movement is a nutrient. Um, welcome into
I
your
like that.
welcome into your perception that movement is a nutrient. And I'll give two reasons. So I talked about us living our life through the nervous system and then on a cellular level earlier. And I talked about us breaking down, assimilating nutrients, turning fats to fatty acids, carbohydrates to usable sugars, proteins to amino acids. Movement is turned into nutrients also. And the cellular level of that is this. There's something called imbibition. And what imbibition is the movement of water molecules into cells to properly hydrate those cells based upon movement or stimulation. And the only way those water molecules move properly is through proper movement or stimulation. Um, Another example I'll give is stimulating the cerebellum. The example I'll give is if somebody has a stroke, what's the first thing
Mm-hmm.
somebody with a stroke does? If they have a stroke, they go through physical therapy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't address that in nutrition first. They go to physical therapy because what happens is, earlier I talked about how the nervous system works and how the nerves grow and they connect to organs. These are physical tree branch like connections. They're called dendrites or dendral connections. These are physical. like connections. I'm sure you are aware of this, but of course I'm saying it for the viewers. These physical connections, they regulate organ function, they regulate immune system function. If somebody has a stroke, this is a physical nerve that is now severed. There's something called neuroplasticity, or a plastic effect of the nervous system to regrow itself. The brain has the same plastic effect where it can multiply neurons. Innumerable amount of neurons can grow within the brain. And you look at the amount of data they try to put on some of these huge supercomputers, it doesn't compare to the amount of information that your brain can store. Think about it. You're learning your entire life. You never reach your capacity because the brain has this ability to always grow and create new neurological connections. It's called cortical mapping, or some people call it synaptogenesis, which is the, genesis is the root word, is the creation of new synaptic connections within the brain and within the nervous system. Movement is the main mechanism that makes this possible. It's called neuroplasticity. It's proper stimulation to the cerebellum. And that's why if somebody goes through a stroke and they have those physical connections severed, the first thing they go through is symmetrical stimulation or cross-crawl exercises through physical therapy to teach the body how to walk again. We call it muscle memory, but muscle memory is nothing but a physical nerve connection. And when that nerve is broken, that memory can be retaught and reestablished because the body can grow new nerves. And, on a cellular level, these things are called molecular patterns. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds of those molecular patterns, but what I'll say is if a pattern can be established, a new one can be established. And the Most High has given us this ability, and movement is the major stimulant of that. One example I'll share is this, and this isn't my story. There's a genius chiropractic neurologist named Dr. John Bergman. I studied under him for a very long time in his courses, especially online. And he was giving a lecture one day. And in the lecture, they were dissecting brains. And he's holding up a brain, basically, a dissection. And he's saying the person that this brain came from had a lower left limb dysfunction. And in my mind, I'm like, can you tell that by looking at the brain? It doesn't make sense. I didn't believe it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Further down the line, they actually read the profile of the person that donated their their body to science, whatever. They read the profile of that person and they see that that person was a lower left leg amputee. They were a military vet who lost their leg. And in my mind, I was like, how did you know that by looking at the brain? What I didn't understand when I was in school at the time is the nerve connections in the brain and the robust build of the brain all comes from proper physical stimulation and movement. So what he saw was the section of the brain that was supposed to be properly developed, that would have been developed from that lower left limb area, was underdeveloped because the lower left limb was missing that would have given it the physical stimulation. And he saw that just by looking at the brain. So the point I make to people is, I know that's complex, but if you understand that, you understand that movement is just as important. It's a nutrient, just like your food is. It's not just your diet. It's a holistic approach like we talk about. And if your diet is holistic, your exercise should be also. Your body is a temple all the way around. And you have to treat it as such. You have no choice. So
Amen to that. Amen to that. Once again, it's about balance. It's about balance. And that's where obesity is a big issue, because if you're taking in all these calories but not burning anything off, then what happens? Your body is storing all of that as fat.
Absolutely.
And on that note, we are inviting you to come back next month, because there's so much more that we can learn from you other than nutrition, right? As a fitness and wellness coach. And so next month, we are going to delve into those areas. So I am inviting you to come back next month and talk to us again about the wellness side and the fitness side.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Most High's will. I'm 100% open to any way I can serve, and I really appreciate that.
All praises. the water up, the water. This was so wonderful. Wow, it was a lot of information. So I'm sure I'm going to go back and listen to this again, and I'm sure I will get our viewers as well, because it was a lot of information, very valuable information, and in order to retain it, at least for myself, I'm going to have to watch this over and over again, because you gave us so much information.
Thank you.
So much to chew on. And let me put it that way. You gave us a lot to chew on.
It's about nutrition. So, yeah.
God. So thank you again. I truly appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you again next month.
Yes, ma'am.
And having you on here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for all you do, and I appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you for all you do. Have a blessed week. Have a blessed week.
Yes, ma'am. Bless you.
Bless you. Shalawam.
Shalom, sis.
Wow. Oh my gosh, this has been an incredible month, has it not? Oh my goodness, I'm just blown away with the guests that we have had this entire month. Elsie said, thank you both for informative information presentation. I appreciate it very much. I learned a lot. All praises. Mr. Johnny, the water to both of you. So we really appreciate our brother. He is just a wealth of information. So can you believe that April Alternative and Complementary Therapies and Treatment Month has come to an end already? Yes, we had some incredible back-to-back shows and guests, just jam-packed with such great information. We're learning so much about how to live healthy and more productive lives by allowing our bodies to heal itself the way the Most High intended it to. Awesome and amazing. Looking forward to him coming back. Khan. Sister Jeanette says, yes, it's been an incredible couple of months. So wait until you hear about next month. Who's ready for May and June? Usually I give 1 month's theme at a time. I will share his email, Khan. I will share his email with you. So who's ready for the next 2 months? So this is the theme for May and June. Coaching for personal growth and professional development. Coaching for personal growth and professional development. We'll be learning about how to grow and develop our personal and professional lives with advice from health, fitness, wellness, financial, and business coaches and experts. That is what is about to happen in May and June. Coaching for personal growth and professional development. And like I said, we'll be learning how to grow and develop our personal and professional lives with advice from health, fitness, wellness, financial, and business coaches. So come prepared to step out of your comfort zone. If you want to start weaning off, the analogy that I use is weaning off the respirators that have been keeping us barely alive, right? The goal is to unplug from the matrix and to breathe on our own, figuratively speaking. Just unplugging from the matrix. For some of you, that may mean thinking about how you can live a medication-free life. That may be one of your goals, is how do I get off of these medications? How can I start weaning myself off? And, learning from a health and wellness coach and working with your primary care doctor, talking to your primary care doctor about working hand in hand with a nutritionist, working hand in hand with a holistic practitioner, even Dr. Sergio, right? Learning how to get off of medication if you are using that right now as a respirator that's keeping you barely alive, right? For others, it may mean decreasing your work hours so that you can focus on that business that you've been wanting to start but don't know how to. So business coaching within the next couple of months. And for someone else, it may mean budgeting for learning how to budget for a feast day or a real getaway, a vacation. So learning how to budget for those things that we may want to enjoy. So the next couple of months, we will be talking to coaches that can help you in these areas. So if you've ever considered getting a health, fitness, wellness coach, or a business or financial coach to help you achieve your goal, the next couple of months will help you to make a decision on whether that is something that you should incorporate in your plans, your goals. Okay? So who knows? You may decide to become a coach in your area of expertise. You may have an area of expertise that you may now want to coach others into. So yeah, you're in for a real treat the next couple of months. Are you ready for that? Are you all ready for that? May and June, the Most High willing, that's what we're going to delve into. So sisters, I hope that you found the information that was presented tonight useful. I sure did, and I know you did as well. If you did, please do me a favor, share this video with your sister friends, your relatives. Let's grow this channel so that the information can reach Shebrews throughout the four corners of the earth, and even those who are not Shebrews but are willing to be a part of our community. We are to let our light shine so that others can be led to the source of the light, right? And we know who that source is, the Most High, through His Son, YASHAYA Christ. Sister Jeanette says, those topics sound so good, and I need help with all of that. Concept, we are really going to, you know what? Because so many of us have businesses right in our home, and we're not capitalizing on that. But we are getting to a place in this life, in this world right now, where we really need to start thinking about these businesses that the Most High have put in to help each other, right? Somebody may be growing peppers on their little balcony, and somebody may be over here growing tomatoes. And if you happen to be in the same areas, you can now barter with someone else. You give me some peppers, I'll take some of your tomatoes, and guess what? We can add those to our salad. But coming together, although it may sound as though it's something small, something menial, when we come together as a body, it becomes great. So start thinking about how can you start weaning off of the respirators that you're on. And let us get these coaches on board to help us. So I want to thank you so much. I love you and always appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to come and have tea and conversation with me and for us to learn together, right? We are learning so much. So Sawada, thank you for all of your support. Althea says, bring it on. Yes, we're bringing it. We're bringing it. So know that I am praying for you. I am praying for us. So until the Most High brings us back together, May you prosper and be in good health. Remember, true healing begins inwardly before it is expressed outwardly. So I am your hostess, Kuala Yakata, a voice of reasoning and justice. Have a good night. I love you all so much. Have a blessed week. And if it's the Most High's will, I will see you next Sunday. Shalawam. Peace and blessings. Shalawam, sisters. I love you all.